This is Leon, and I want to talk about how I have defined myself as a personality to so much of an extent that within my process of self-realization, I am dissecting, if you will, I'm dissecting the integrity of me as a personality structure, because what I have manifested myself as is in fact personality based, because everything that I do comes from and as the personality that goes for thoughts, feelings, and emotions, perceptions, ideas, beliefs. Thus, memories become like, if you look at science, you have solid, liquid, gas. The personality is like a gas, it's all over the place. It's an energetic integrity that is being lived here within and as the moment. If you look at memories, the memories are like solid because they have been stored into a compartment and is taken out when it needs to be fulfilled. So therefore, the personality is like the active part of self. And so therefore, this personality is actually the active integrity of memories, which are like solids that are held into a compartment ready to be utilized by the mind as the personality in each and every moment. What I'm doing is actually dissecting the integrity of who I am as a being here within and as this reality. And so therefore, one point that I wanted to talk about is how I see people within my world in reality, how I see others based on their form and based on their personality. Because see, I have connected certain types of forms within this world to the personality. And I have defined a personality as life. And so therefore, depending on the form of the individual is how much life they have as an individual. And so therefore within that, within my process of actually dissecting the integrity of who I am and what I have accepted and allowed myself to be and become, it is like from my mind's perspective, it's like I'm losing a part of myself. Losing a part of myself as the personality. Because what am I doing? I'm actually not accepting and allowing myself to be drawn to and as the personality of me. Because the personality is simply like a code that is activated within and during certain specific types of places or things that I see. Therefore, in that moment, the personality is actually activated, and therefore, I become this personality, whether it is something like an excitement within that moment, or a desire, or some type of demeanor that I that I invoke based on a physical event within my world and reality. So when I see certain forms, I look at those forms, and then when those forms are not, or leave, or if those forms, like say for instance, I'm around a form for a particular specific length of the day, and then if they leave, then I feel this loss within me, this loss for this form, because I have defined myself. I've created a relationship to that personality as what I believe and perceive that personality as that individual to be. And so therefore I miss that personality because I formed a relationship in separation from that individual. And so I also define that personality as life, as an energy, as a vibrance, and thus formed a relationship to that vibrance, and thus reacted with happiness that I'm around this personality. Because without the personality is what I really define myself as unhappy, as depressed. And so I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to define me based on the relationships that I formed with other personalities that I have perceived more than me. Because the only reason that really I cling to a personality is because I perceived them more than me. I perceived that they were able to give me something that I didn't initially have. Because I was going out the elevator, and I saw this person, and then they were actually on the phone, and this was at work. And so they were on the phone, and then they waved at me, and they said bye. And so I was like, that conversation on the phone, I formed a relationship to that person based on their form and the conversation that they had, because they were talking to their child, I guess. And so therefore I formed a relationship with that because I saw it as like being vibrant or having life within this love thing going on, as far as family and stuff like that. Do your homework. Make sure you do your homework. Or what did you do in school today? Did you do what you supposed to have been doing at school today? All those things I define as living. And so I perceive myself separate from these points that I defined as living, because I believe that I'm not living. I'm not living within this world. So I have to go and attach myself to others within the form of relationships in order to feel like I'm living, or to feel loved, or to feel good. All of these points that is generated within it as me based on relationships in separation. Therefore, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to define me based on a relationship. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to believe that the personality of an individual is their vibrance. And thus define that vibrance as life, because I define me as dead. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to believe that death is I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to have an aversion for death. To have an aversion for death. To not like death because I think it's something wherein I am not able to form relationships to. Because when you're dead, you're not able to form relationships. What are these relationships? These relationships are just like strings. Imaginary strings that is holding something together in place that comes from one's own mind. And thus actually cannot be cross-referenced by anyone else because it is not real. It's like imaginary shoelaces. And those shoelaces has become imaginary friends. And that is really a fuck up. A fuck up, and also a point of diminishment within and as self. Therefore, each relationships that I believe and perceive as vibrant from within and as my own world and reality, I have to look at those relationships. Am I separate from those relationships? Am I defining those relationships more than me? What is it? Why is it that what is it? Who am I within this relationship with this person? Relationship from the perspective of any kind of relationship. Who am I within that? Am I actually birthing this relationship in separation? Meaning, am I birthing it because I feel depressed? Because I feel lost? Because I feel alone by myself? That is utter diminishment. And that is actually what actual death is. Because within the diminishment eventually comes death. And that is the death within and as relationships. That is seen as life. Defined as life. Defined as vibrance. Defined as love. Defined as feelings. Defined as emotions. Defined as happiness. And that is one of the greatest deceptions within and as this world. Thank you.